as I throw it to you, muji-introduce, sijui ni ninga melodies ama ni ninja melodies.
That
G can really be complicated. So yes, you're on air, it's your time.
It's Ninga Melodies, and we are still in the Christmas mood. So how about to give you some Christmas carol for now? Thank you.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees.
Fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angels' voices. When Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine, fall on your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Led by the light of faith serenely beaming, with glowing hearts by his cradle we stand. So led by light of faith serenely beaming, here came the wise man from the Orient land. A King of kings, laid thus in lowly manger, in all our trials, born to be a friend.
And he knows our need. He guardeth us from danger. Behold, your King before the lonely bed. Behold,
Your King before him lowly bed. He knows our needs. He guided us from danger. Behold, your King before him lowly bed. Behold, your King before
voices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices, oh, night divine, oh, night, when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine, fall on your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Tandoluga baba lubanzi luchulile lumnali zunguzonye. Tandoluga baba lubanzi luchulile lumnali zunguzonye.
Lumnandi zunguzonye. Lumnandi zunguzonye. Tandoluga baba lubanzi luchulile lumnandi zunguzonye. Tandoluga baba lubanzi luchulile lumnandi zunguzonye. Lumnandi zunguzonye. Lumnandi zunguzonye. Faram, 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 faram,
Nanzonzo ni non farà nanzi. Eri antavaram clara, ni antavaram clara, Yesu Christu, ni antavaram clara, Nanzonzo ni non farà Hey, I am happy today. I am happy today. In Jesus Christ, I am happy today. He has taken them all my sins away.
That's why I am happy today.
Aksenimo,
Lumnandi zunguzonye.
Aksenimo,
Lumnandi zunguzonye.
Tandoluga
baba lubanzi luchulile lumnandi zunguzonye. Tandoluga baba lubanzi luchulile lumnandi zunguzonye. Lumnandi zunguzonye. Lumnandi zunguzonye.
Lumnandi, Bamba, Lumnandi zunguzo, Lumnandi yakse, Nibo, Lumnandi, Bamba, Lumnandi zunguzo, Lumnandi yakse, Nibo, Lumnandi, Bamba, Lumnandi zunguzo,
Right. For a moment, been looking for you guys like for ages. And I kept on asking myself, mbona si wanajisikia sukari hivyo? Now I understand. Clearly, I understand why it's pretty hard to get these guys on board. They are just amazing. I think they have bookings left, right, and center. Maybe there's just a reason why you barely get them. Congratulations, guys. You are doing an amazing job. They had requested that I request for a song, and I was like, oh, you surprised me. Because I'm sure, come on and get a request song, we wouldn't have gotten that amazing piece right there. But otherwise, my guests are on a standby. And of course, this is in regards to what you should do to ensure that you're taking good care of yourself during this festive season. Of course, keeping safe during the festive season is key. And Alan Wakori is on board alongside a mentor, that is Kai V. Ken. They're going to be taking us through, a simple about 20-30 minutes talk in regards to how you can take good care of yourself at this particular time. I mean, we all go crazy on alcohol, on food, on party moments, but it's important that we are careful. Good morning, gentlemen. Good to have you. How are you? Good. Ali, Najua, the handshake does not feel so good. It would have been better if it was a hug, but all the same, umeka chini. We're going to do that after the show.
Oh, yes.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I am happy that you're here. I mean, it's been a year of course, doing this together. And lastly, we're here and we're crossing fingers that we're going to see next year. Exactly. In one piece. Is that good English?
Yeah, that is good English.
Yes, welcome on board.
Thank you.
Ken, right?
Yes.
Good to have you also.
Thank you so much.
And we're all about this festive season.
Exactly.
I mean, a season to marry, a season to be dressed, a season to enjoy with family, a season to sometimes, just get off your old skin or your tight skin or your formal skin and enjoy, the best of Christmas season. But it's important that we are cautious. As a mentor, really, what would be your your biggest advice to anyone who's out here? Most of the people have traveled to the rural area. Some of them have traveled from country to country just to enjoy this session, even as they make merry. What are the key things to ensure that they're careful about?
Thank you so much. I think the conversation among young people right now is that you only live once.
Yes.
And this is a time when people go out of their way to do anything to just make them happy.
Right.
But I tell people that living once is not a problem. If you live it right, then once is enough.
Okay.
But you have to take care of yourself in a way that tomorrow has you in it.
Right.
Unfortunately, some of us go to extents where we do things without looking into tomorrow. So I think the conversation begins from the place of loving yourself enough to walk away from anything that is detrimental and that would make you not available tomorrow. That means you keep off from doing so much or too much that is not right at this time. So walk away from anything that would jeopardize yourself. Yes.
All right, amazing. Alan, sometimes some of us have enjoyed these sessions that we sit down and say, hey, enyewe kama niliponea hiyo, God nimso, such moments. So while we might actually want to fall, some of the people who sort of let loose and enjoy, I think sometimes it's important that we equally have this conversation with them, because then that's the reason why we decide that today we should have this conversation. So, sometimes you just do not understand what kind of devil comes on board and trickles in. So, first of all, your experiences. What is the worst that you've ever had during this, during any festive season that got you thinking, "Wa, enyewe hii nimepona," and of course, sort of brought you back on track?
Well, you can have a look at 2019. Okay. We can say that we're looking at the year in retrospect, and since January this year, we can say that it's been a very challenging year economically to most Kenyans. And if you go back, you asked about that moment where I felt I couldn't make it, but then I made that step, and I said I did it. 2018 was a very difficult year for me. especially after having left mainstream radio. Well, I can say dealing with that was quite difficult.
Right.
And December 2018 was quite challenging to me. But, well, looking at January 2019, now we are here. We're celebrating the festive seasons. That is December 2019. I can say that it has been a journey. So, well, the festive season is here.
Right.
What do you have to look up to for tomorrow?
Right.
I mean, God willing, we are crossing over to 2020. Let's talk about planning. Let's talk about sobriety.
Right.
Let's talk about, well, it's been a difficult year economically, like I
Yeah.
said previously. So, I mean, what are your plans? What are your long-term objectives for next year? Do you have those goals? Do you have those dreams? I mean, what are you doing? Are you outside that comfort zone? What are you doing to work on to 2020? So basically, I can say that irrespective of the challenges, they still hope
Right.
that 2020 will be a better year.
All right.
Exactly.
Of course, that's amazing. And we cross fingers that indeed it's going to be a better year. But coming to you, Ken, as a mentor, you will acknowledge the fact that sometimes you probably have had to deal with people who've gone through tough times throughout the year or the past years. Some of them who've sat down at some point, towards the beginning of the year, set up goals, set up, of course, resolutions. But then coming towards the end, they sit down, they try to tick on the ones that they've been able to achieve, and probably there's barely nothing to celebrate. And it comes along with psychological torture, comes along with a lot of course, pull down in terms of, just emotions, esteem, and all that. And some of the people would want to call it quits. Some of them would want to let loose and say, whatever, forget it. Because at the end of the day, if I tried it in the last year and it did not work, why should I even try harder? So in such a scenario, how then do we approach such individuals, and how do we guide them through so that they know, there's still tomorrow. And if yesterday was bad, there are likelihoods that tomorrow could be better in the event that you just focus and look at the positive bit of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, two things. One, when you write down your resolutions for the year, there's a probability some of them don't come to pass. What I advise people is that what failed was not you, it was your idea.
Okay.
So as you're beginning another year, why don't you plan another idea? And if you feel there was something you never did to, so that what you wanted to achieve didn't happen, then you draw again. And then I also, number two, look at life as a baby. Now, when a baby is learning to walk, it is never a sweet journey. You try to walk, then you fall down. But if you keep yourself down after falling the first time, you'll never learn to walk. But every baby is motivated to try and walk. So you fall down and then you rise up again. So what I tell such people is that number one, it is the idea that fail, it was not you. And number two, is that just like a baby, you need to pick yourself up and try it again. Because success is not for the faint-hearted. It's for people who wake up and try again and again. Exactly.
All right, thank you. Coming to you, I look at, I've actually been going through the newspapers, and sadly enough, apart from the merrymaking, apart from the beautiful side of Christmas, what has dominated the paper is, of course, issues to do with crime, issues to do with immorality, issues to do with, the dangers within, road accidents at this particular time. And it is not news to us, I would say, because then every other festive season, every other holiday season, such happens a lot. Why is it that it's been hard as a society to address some of these issues at the core? Are we a hard-headed society, sincerely? Are we not putting enough towards addressing some of these key things?
We are a society, I have to admit, that tends to forget so quickly.
Right.
During the festive seasons, you'll get to see things like accidents happen. We have issues of alcoholism. We have issues of crime. But we are a society that tends to keep on repeating the same thing time and again. At the moment, this message has been passed on every time we are nearing the festive season, and especially even, for example, to drivers who are ferrying people across the country. Guys are attending festivities, these festivities are up country, but there are same people who tend to keep on ignoring the same message that you have to drive safely. Remember that you're ferrying people across the country. Number two, talk about crime. I'll just go back to 2019. I told you these are trickle-down effect. Across the country, when we have economic problems,
Right.
when you have 60% of Kenyans going broke, then what happens? This translates back to the society.
Yeah.
That is why once we near the end of every year, you'll get the same problems reflecting in the society. Crime, accidents. So I think it's inherent in us that as a society, we have to be sober psychologically. So whatever you do this festive season, remember that 2020 is coming. It's on the way. That is January. So before you do anything, you have to be sober
yeah.
psychologically.
Okay, all right. I pretty much had to be sober psychologically, especially when we're talking about a broke nation,
Exactly.
where everyone is talking, sincerely speaking, in its very own special way, money sort of runs the world.
Exactly.
Money sort of runs the activities of every human being.
Right.
And we all have different ways of dealing with pressure. And, being broke is one pressure that you suddenly do not want to deal with. So imagine a situation whereby sometimes it would not be considered as a broke festive season, but still people fear January, facing January. Because then it's 1 month that has been considered to have, 40 or 60 days in comparison to the rest of the other months. So what is left of the faint-hearted who are not bold enough to face their fears? Because we all face our fears in different ways. Are we going to be able to run away from, situations whereby people are going to commit suicide? And I'm not trying to prophesy doom, I mean, how will they be able to deal with their issues, especially right now that we're talking about a January that is full of activity, a January where children will go back to school, a January where, of course, now you have to pay rent, you have to survive, you have to figure out, your salary, you just finished it during this particular festive season. How do you just get to deal and to balance this, especially for the faint-hearted?
Right. Well, Linda, I like to say that fear is a reaction, but courage is a decision. There are so many people who are fearing January. One is because they never made good decisions. They went out there, they partied, they did everything they could to make themselves happy. Now, when January comes, now they start fearing. I also understand we are living in hard economic times. But I believe one of the things that my father used to tell me when I was young is that boys know the problem, but men know the solution. So yes, there's a problem. We don't have money. But what are we going to do? Are we going to continue singing Wajinga Sisi? Or are we going to pick up some things and start looking for solutions? So I believe in a solution-oriented generation, people who will rise up and say, yes, we are in a turmoil, but we need to make a few decisions so that we can walk out of the turmoil that we are in and, of course, get into prosperity. And that, of course, comes into ideas like 2022. What we are thinking of doing in 2022 should reflect also on the economic decisions we are making, so that even as we vote in a government, we are sure that it will land us in the right place.
Bold decisions that we're talking about before we come to Alan. And Alan, I like calling him Alande, so that's why you find the D just finding itself somewhere there. So when we're talking about making decisions, sometimes they're painful decisions, sometimes they're tight decisions to make, sincerely. For instance, we actually could be talking about economic decisions, but it cuts across. It's probably a year of tough times, in someone's marriage, and they sort of feel like, they need to walk into the next year, having known what is left of them, how do they fix the next year and all that. So a couple of angles where people need to make bold decisions. How then do you make these decisions that could be painful and still foresee a situation whereby you're going to soldier through?
I think one of the things is discipline. And I love talking about discipline. Number 2, character, because some of the things that affect us are those two. For example, discipline in spending. I talk about money and I say any amount is enough so long as you have the discipline to spend it. So there are people probably who are walking out of certain situations, and in next year they're saying, I want a better year. You need to have the discipline to not walk back to the things that made your year such a hard year. And you need to make conscious decisions. And I think as I began, I talked about loving yourself. You should love yourself enough not to walk back to situations that, made your year hard. You should be bold enough not to make calls to people who probably made your ear such a bad year. For example, I have a friend somewhere who really messed up my ear in some way. So I need to be very disciplined not to go for that phone, no matter how lonely I feel.
This, though, does not mean you're making enemies, right?
I am not making enemies.
It's just avoiding what we call let-ins.
Exactly.
It's just avoiding what we call let-ins.
Exactly. So number 2, character. be sure that you're doing what is right, so that you don't have to go to church every day.
Yeah.
Telling the pastor to pray for you for things that you orchestrated yourself. For example, if you go out there drinking and then you drive and then you cause some accidents, then you go to church asking the pastor to pray for you. That is character. That is not even God involved.
Right.
So I would say be bold enough to walk away from things that probably messed up your ear.
All right, and as we walk away from things, you know, there are things that actually might not have messed up your ear, but they're just there lingering around you, and actually friends, peer pressure for that matter.
Exactly.
Let's just address peer pressure, especially for the youths. That, you know, sometimes it's pretty much hard to just run away from these friends of yours. They might not... Okay, it might not sound as though they're derailing you, and it might not be felt almost instantly, but later on you realize that, oh, okay, this is a mistake that I did. Why did I have to just hang around and cling around these people? So how are you able to overcome this, especially when we are addressing the youths? And I don't even think it's a youthful problem, by the way. Nowadays, even the oldies have a problem. Like you just want to be around those, you know, old guys that you play cards with, you drink together and all that. And by the time you realize the time has so gone, time that you'd have used to do something else.
Well, I heard him talk about a friend of his who messed up.
Yeah, even if he's going to be lonely, you know, like that other beats is what I heard. Okay, well.
Exactly. So we've had friends, we've had relatives who messed that year. 2019 maybe was difficult because they messed it up. So there's a can of let-ins that you have to close as you walk into the new year.
Right.
So that is what we call let-ins. Maybe friends who've been dragging you, you can't move forward. And show me your friends, I'll tell you the kind of person that you are.
Right.
If you'll sit down around friends who don't make you grow, people who drag you down, so the only decision is to let go. I mean, maybe that marriage has failed this year. Maybe there's that career move that didn't work this year. So you have to reprogram yourself.
Right.
I came to learn that life is a learning curve. And we can say that every year you have to learn something. So if it failed, maybe there were those friends that dragged you down and it appeared to be very negative for you.
Right.
You have to close these let-ins. We call them let-ins. So if hamsaidiani, you'll have to take another road.
Right.
That is how it works simply. You
Okay,
have to make that stand.
That's done. There are times you convince yourself that, well, maybe it's just now that at Saidiani, maybe things are going to change. Maybe it's not what I think and all that. How do you overcome such? Because those are the most things that get people derailed. And you know, they will derail you from making that bold move. They will get you thinking, how about I try it again? How about I get back? How about I put my money on this bank in as much as maybe last time it did not, you know, sort of give me proper interest and all that. So
it's all about fear.
Yeah.
We talked about fear earlier. I mean, you have to face your fears. You have to fight off these, you know, the backdrops that make you think you can't make that decision because it's inside you. But once you start believing that you can do it, I believe it's very possible to close these let-ins.
Yeah.
Well, let's sell hope 2020. It's good to sell hope because, you know,
sure.
you can survive on hope. Hope is painful, but you can survive on hope.
Right.
It's not working for you, but, I mean, there's somebody who's talking to you and letting you know that tomorrow will be a better day. I believe hope should be the message come
that
next
we are
year.
preaching.
Exactly.
All right, okay, that's good. So how do we then get from this society? I think that when I asked Alan, but I'd equally love to know that on a counseling bit of it, on a mentoring bit of it, because then so much so of our kids have gotten into crime. They have been, of course, derailed so much so with peer pressure. There's all about party after party, or left, right, and center. They are all into immorality. They are all into alcohol and all these negativities of life. How do we transform our society from a society that is full of negativity, that it's okay, you can take alcohol, but not to that level where, you know, it gets you disoriented and all that. I mean, how do we just create this shift, especially with these differences in generation, of course, in regards to parenting, and equally at that level, because then it's a whole different generation. It's a whole different affair, probably a different generation from what we have experienced ourselves. And it becomes very hard to get to, you know, strike the balance if we're not up to par to exactly, you know, in regards to exactly what is happening.
When I talk to parents, this is what I tell them. Sometimes we are very fast to tell kids, don't do this. But I always tell them that if you don't give a young person something else to do, they will always go back to what you told them not to do. So we need to come up with other options to give these kids. If I tell you do not go to party after party, then what else am I giving you? So that you don't just remain in the house playing poker games and Need for Speed. All those were games of our times. But then what other option am I giving you? Because if I don't give you anything, then you still go back to where you began. I come from this divide where I am not of small alcohol and a lot of alcohol.
Okay.
I am born again.
So you're like, no alcohol at all. Wait a minute. Now that one we'll discuss. Proceed.
So I may not advise on little alcohol or whatever, but I believe in...
Take a little, that one I know. It is First Thessalonians of Timothy. It says a little for your stomach's sake, a little wine for your stomach. Well, I'm not trying to tell you that, and I'm not trying to justify that it's good to take alcohol. I'm just trying to go back to the Bible in regards to that.
So, there's this discussion that goes around. But Timothy was sick. So are you sick?
What do you mean? He was sick? That's why he said that a little for the stomach's sake.
Exactly.
Nidawa.
Nidawa.
Nidawa. All right, man. If you say so, everyone is going to be sick like right now.
So let's give options to these young people. So that if it is the youth, I'm not just telling you to quit alcohol. I'm giving you an opportunity that you will take advantage of, so that the time that you are drinking, you will use it to do this other job that will give you income. So let's give options, and that the conversation starts from up there. Let the government give us jobs. And then it trickles down here. Let us be self-motivating to go out there and seize opportunities. Yes.
All right, amazing. Now we come to that discussion, and we're not trying to say that we'd want people to take alcohol at all. But Alan, just generally, sometimes there are people who are very rigid on themselves, even during the festive season, even that time, when you're supposed to be family, you want to be a lone ranger, you want to just stay alone, you want to do your own things. I mean, well, based on the fact that sometimes you argue that, oh, okay, well, it's way better when you are in your own special cocoon, your own space, you won't have to bother with anybody, you're neither a lender nor a borrower and all that. Would it really be wise for some of us to be rigid to that point? Is it even healthy for ourselves?
Well, let's first talk about you talked about solutions, and we should be a solution-oriented society.
Right.
Number one, once you talk about rigidity amongst ourselves, there's something that I don't want to forget talking about, social media, which is a fallacy. Exactly.
Right.
And this has been driving, let's say, the youth to that drain, down the drains, when you just want to leave that facade, especially maybe after you follow what guys are doing on Instagram, what happens to be basically like a dream. Guys, I mean, it's the new drug in the market. We are living life beyond our measures.
Right.
So you talk about rigidity, number one, you have to make that decision of not living this life beyond your measure. Just don't do it because someone else is doing it. You just want to live that.
It's like it's a cool thing to do.
It's a cool thing. You want to live life on the fast lane because these social media guys, the veterans of this world, are making those trips to Dubai, are making those trips to London. These socialites are hanging around guys who can do expensive drinks. So the rigidity, I mean, is within us.
Hold your peace. Hold your sentiments. Of course, we're coming back to you. Let's pick this phone call. Someone is calling us. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Morning to you.
Thank you so much for calling in, and of course, thank you so much for watching us.
Yeah, it's an amazing discussion. I couldn't miss it for anything.
Thank you. Let's get to hear what you have to say.
My name is Nashami.
Yes.
And regards to these amazing men, they are speaking sense. And I would just want to add to the same and echo that I think what they have, and I agree, is that irrespective of what 2019 has given us, we can look forward to an amazing 2020.
Right.
And we can actually make it better. When I love what Ken said. When we work on our character, we work on our discipline, and we detox of people. Detox. If we have negative energy that has derailed us in 2019, we can rid of that and just look forward to a better 2020. I believe it will be much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited and I'm looking forward to 2020 myself.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your festivities, Mashal. It's great hearing from you. And of course, we're looking forward to a great year, like you rightfully put it. We all are hopeful that we're going to cross, of course, the year. Is it cross the year or maybe cross to the next year? And we're looking forward to, of course, great moments. Thank you so much. Back to Alan.
So we were talking about rigidity.
Yes.
Remember that once we cross over to 2020, we have to stop living this facade, social media facade, especially for the youth. Right. Why do you have to torture yourself psychologically when you don't have the means? I mean, surely, we have to make that decision.
Right.
So you talked about alcoholism. I mean, that's one cause, social media, period. Live off this fallacy, live off this facade, and life will be better for you.
For you.
Exactly.
Especially when you get to realize that actually nobody cares about you. Like, sometimes you think that people are watching and they really so care. Wait until you get problems.
Oh, yeah.
Is when you realize that actually they do not care. Instead, they will be busy trying to laugh at you. And of course, that's pretty much important. And I would say I love what you people say, that yes, there's always hope. It's not rocket science. Like, people have done it. What gets you thinking that as a person you're not able to get it? And, you know, just moving forward, I would want to get the message of hope, even as we cross over to the next year, especially at this particular session, even as we get to wind up this conversation.
I believe that God created each and every one of us with a purpose. And your purpose is special. And when you do not live out your purpose, you do disservice to humanity. There is a space that God created you for, and if you don't fill that space, you will leave this earth and we will mourn because you did not fill out your space. Right. Somebody said that in the grave, that is where many riches are. Because there's so many people who died having not accomplished their purposes. There's a probability cancer should have had a solution by now. But probably there's one guy like Ken who God gave that idea, but when they were supposed to rise up and go out there and do their thing, you know, they YOLO'd. Right. They lived once. They drank themselves up, and now they're dead. So let's live out our purposes and get to know that you're not here by accident. Right. There is a reason to why you're here, and endeavor to know why. When you know why, then you start living your purpose. Right. And one thing that I tell people is why is never copied. You can copy who, you can copy which, but you can never copy why. Okay. The reason you're here is so special, and you need to find that reason and start living it. And as long as the sun shines, there is hope. There is hope. If you wake up one day and you find the sun shining, there is hope. The Bible says that you know, crying, mourning lasts for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Every time I look at the morning, I go to the mirror, I look at this. I don't know whether it's really good, but I think people tell me it's a handsome face. And I tell myself, you know what, Ken?
Oh, really? Okay, yes. Well, it's okay.
I tell myself, you know what, Ken? There's no any other Ken around. Yeah. So you need to wake up, go for your dream, go for your purpose, and leave this world a better place. As long as the sun is shining, there's hope. There is
hope. Amazing, amazing, right there. I think it's good. It's a good, I don't want to call it a statement, but yes, you know, just advice for us to take to the next year. Yeah, Alan.
Learn to end each and every day hoping for the best tomorrow. Right. I mean, you ought to have a positive attitude before you go to bed. That is something I realize, that if you tune your mind into such a way that every day before you sleep, you're hoping for a good day tomorrow, most definitely life will be good for you. There's something interesting my friend Eric Kamau told me one day. He was in Edinburgh, Scotland, and one day he happened to walk along a graveyard. Now, there was a certain epitaph, and the engravement was, this guy was born in 1865, and he died in 1888. So, surely, and he looked at the grave and he was like, oh my God, these people were here and they are gone. Right. So we are not here to stay forever. Right. It all depends on the legacy that you leave behind. So, I mean, there's this YOLO attitude, you only live once. Well, you live once, you destroy your life. I mean, what legacy are you leaving behind? So talk about, as a wind up, talk about selling hope. I've told you before about my initiative, the Banga is a One Mic Talent Search.
Right.
Started in 2014. So we traverse the country
in
sourcing for talent. And we are planning 2020 to make it even bigger, where we can liaise with recording houses, where guys, who are in search of stardom, but they've been sidelined by the media, by the urban youth. We can take it, now even bigger with a message of hope. It's not only about music, countrywide. That is next year. So that is my solution.
Amazing.
I have to sell hope to
and
the
equally
youth.
to the youth.
Exactly.
That's just amazing. It shouldn't always be about you. Your candle shines brighter the moment you light another candle.
Yeah, true.
And I think that is incredible. I have to say, asante sana, gentlemen. Thank you so much for, sparing your time during this festive season. Most of the people will tell you, oh, I've traveled, oh, nimeko nyumbani, oh, I'm feeling a little bit lazy to come all the way, but you've seen it important to come and discuss this. It might be a short time, but trust you me, it has changed someone, it has touched someone, and that's the beauty of life. What have you done to that other person to put a smile on their face? Kai V. Ken, thank you so much. He's a mentor and an author, and you would have carried your book, but all the same, it's okay. All right, and Alan Day, thank you so much for your time. We're crossing over to a different, of course, a segment where we'll be enjoying the beat of music from the DJ and most importantly from the a cappella group, that is Ninga Melodies, of course, after this break. Festive season, it's a feel-good Friday right here on Every TV's New Day. And as always, we'd love to have you enjoying the moment. DJ Axenic on board. Leo wenyewe mix ni kama ulikuwa umetuorganizia za Christmas for sure. Umeanza na the best of the best, the classicals and all that. And now to some bit of bongo.
Thank you so much.
Mambo, Christmas yako?
Kwa tu chonjo. Economy tu ndio noma.
Economy ni noma mtu wangu, lakini manze si kwako peke yako.
Kinakwambia
pesa I think iko na watu 100 peke yake kwa country mzima. Watu 100 peke yake.
I need to meet them manze.
I know, but it's pretty much sad. But like umesikia kina Anlan Wakori wamesema, we need to hold our hopes high. Because at the end of the day maisha lazima iendelee. Lazima. All right, your plans for the year? Any resolution yenye unataka tupatie moja?
This year hakuna resolution juu pesa nazo.
Unajua
ukipanga mpango lazima uweke pesa.
Mic vizuri tukusikie. Wewe unataka kusikia hiyo story.
Nakwambia resolution yote tunataka kufanya
ni kuget pesa.
Lazima ikuwe na do. So kama hakuna do, mbona uko na plans?
But okay,
plans ni za nini?
No, you need to plan because you never know. Pesa inaweza toka, sport pesa unaweza shinda. Unaweza shinda jackpot namna hii. Ni sawa, ni 50-50. That's the reason why you need to plan. So that at least hiyo pesa ikikam uko on standby. Isikupate off guard pia. Yes, of course we're loving the mix and equally loving the moment. We're almost winding up the show, but all the same, we say thank you so much. Ensure that you keep it right here. Of course, the Ninga Melodies are coming on board. Nimona, apart from being musicians, they're equally dancers, cool dancers for that matter. So I think tuwapatie kangoma hapo, wakuje wajibambe hapa. Wakwa live lakini nilikuwa na wachungulia. So wacha wakuje wajibambe hapa. All right, sawa. Music, tupatie yenye uko nayo. Ninga Melodies kujeni. I'm sorry to be direct.
Uye lela lelo. Uye lela lelo. Uye Adieda la malo, ela tinga malo, adieda la malo, tinga malo, adieda la tinga malo, tinga tera adianeda la tinga malo, tinga tera adianeda la achako marika ora gik maneno ndalo mabiro piny dongunda ne achako wuoth madhi kawuora gik maneno ndalo mabiro piny dongunda dhi dala malo dala gi Yesu ruodha dala mara
Tinga malo adhi ane dala.
dala malo dala gi Yesu nyakalaga
Tinga malo adhi ane dala. Tinga malo tinga tera 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 adhi ane dala. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive a King. Let every heart prepare him room.
And heaven and nature
And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ. While fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains.
repeat the sounding
Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness,
and wonders of
and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room.
and heaven and nature
And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Let earth receive. Let earth receive our King.
Yeah, but all the same, I've hacked it. And here we go. Ninga melodies. What about Ninga melodies? What about that? Kwanza inamaanisha nini hiyo?
Ninga.
Ninga.
Ninga ni Swahili word.
Okay.
Ni aina ya ndege. So ninga is
Sing
ushasikia
so well.
sauti kama ninga.
Yeah, Ninga,
In
yes,
Luo,
now
it's
I
called
understand.
fundwe.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, yes,
Sawa,
sauti
sawa.
kama Ninga. Yes,
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense. All right, so what keeps you together as a group?
Music.
Music keeps
Music,
you together.
music is like-
Mbona, first of all, mbona hakunanga madem kwa
Kwa
any
Ninga.
acapella? Do you know I've hosted like almost 7 acapellas hapa.
And
Melody, hakuna hata moja inakuanga na dem.
okay, you know, when it's mixed, it won't be like a cappella. It won't sound good like when it's mixed with the ladies.
Oh,
It
really?
will now be a choir. you know. But when you say a cappella, you can only have a male or female alone. Yeah, and
that's
then
a real name of a cappella.
yeah, and then we sound better without ladies.
Are you trying to tell me, I've just proved the fact that you sound better without ladies?
We do sound better.
All right, any other of you can pick this up. I mean, what are your plans for Christmas? I mean, what do you expect that youths should do, especially at this particular session of Christmas? I mean, this is an amazing thing that you're doing, and I can tell that you're still young up there. You know, most of the youths are not in such groups. So, I mean, what would be your advice
Tell
to
the
them?
youth.
Youths. Wewe mtafanya nini?
Ama waingie waimbe pia.
Wanaweza imba waingie, but kitu wanaweza fanya ni just as your conscience drives you, there's always the right thing to do. As much as kuna hii festive season ya kujibamba, there's always deep inside you ile tunajua ndio nafaa kuwa nafanya. This is right. Na I think that's the only thing I can say.
Choices have consequences.
Yes, choices have consequences. It's important that you're careful, especially at this particular time. So the last question, as you give me one piece and exit the stage, first of all, I have to say asante sana. Like, you guys have made our day. Thank you so much for finding time to come all the way. So resolutions is a time where you sit down, you know, as an individual, as a group, as a people, as a family, and make resolutions. What is the biggest biggest resolution for Ninga Group?
Each and every one of us, they have their own. We have our own resolutions. I haven't asked them. I have mine. They are personal.
Yes.
But as a group, as Ninga Melodies, we want to remain the best male choral group in Kenya. We've won 2 awards, 2018, 2019, as the best wedding entertainment band in Kenya, and we want to keep that. So we want to assure our fans that we're not going back.
Amen. And one of your fans is actually calling. Let's get to hear what they have to say. Jonah Dambo from Bungoma. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Ama tumemiss.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, today salamu ni tofauti, sio bushere. Asante sana kwa kupiga.
Nakwambia Linda, nimefurahi, yani show imenibamba.
Asante.
Asante sana.
Show imenibamba kwa nini niseme congratulations vijana wetu, leo mmetubambia show nzuri sana.
Asante.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Kama unataka kujua Linda show imenibamba, nikukumbushe mambo ya zamani kabisa nikiwa kijana.
I know. Tumeshukuru sana. You Nikiluya. You should get that next time.
All right.
Hey. What make sure we practice hiyo. The next time tuko nao hapa.
Yes,
hiyo ndio wanaimba. Asante sana John. There you go. And that's more like it. And we can only hope that, of course, your dreams are able to be achieved. That's for sure. Congratulations for the awards that you received. And I can equally prophesy that indeed you get to get more and more of the awards. And thank you so much once again for your time.
Amen.
And we're looking forward to see you some other time, maybe another session on Christmas.
No problem.
And during, of course, Easter holidays and all that,
yes,
we'll certainly get you on board.
Yeah.
All right, one piece as we exit the stage.
Thank you so much. And as we give you our last piece, we want to say to our fans out there, thank you for believing in us and thank you for watching. Mko wengi sana, tuwezi wataja majina, and our colleagues wenye wamebaki nyumbani, akina Kamau Karugu, akina Alan Shoso, akina Rogers, na wengine wote wako wengi. Nikitaja tutaimba. Kwa nini? Wamesema wasalimie. We have a lot of fans watching. We love you guys. And, yeah.
All right, so, thank you.
Oh, you can find us on Facebook, Ninga Melodies.
Yeah,
like
it's as simple as Ninga Melodies.
Ninga Melodies, just Ninga Melodies. Yeah.
All right, okay, there you go.
Mawe niwe baba,
zilale mawe
niwe baba,
zilale mawe
niwe baba,
zilale mawe, we baba zilale mawe,
niwe baba,
zilale mawe,
niwe baba,
zilale mawe,
niwe baba,
zilale mawe, we baba zilale mawe. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Niwe baba,
zilale maueni,
iwe baba,
zilale maueni,
iwe baba,
zilale maueni, we baba, zilale maueni.
homeless, homeless, moonlight sleeping on a midnight lake. We are so
Homeless, 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 moonlight sleeping on a midnight lake.
We are so
Homeless, 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 moonlight sleeping on a midnight lake. Tulululu, 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 Zioyam, 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 makaza singibulelewe mama. Zioyam, 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 makaza singibule. Strong wind, destroy our hopes. Oh, many are dead tonight, it could be you. Strong wind, destroy our hopes. Oh, many are dead tonight, it could be you. Tulululu, 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 tulululu,
Kulumani,
Kulumani, Kulumani sizwe.
and I.
Baya, jabula masichana, joko.
Kulumani, yeah.
Kulumani,
Kulumani,
Kulumani sizwe.
and I.
Baya, jabula masichana, joko.
Somebody say, somebody say,
Hello, hello, hello.
somebody say, somebody cry.
Why?
Somebody say, somebody say,
Hello, hello, hello.
somebody say, somebody cry.
Why?
Somebody say, somebody say,
Hello, hello, hello.
somebody say, somebody cry.
Why?
Baby, hi, hi, beautiful, hi.
Hi, baby, hi. Hi, beautiful, hi.
Baby, hi.
Hi, baby, hi. Hi, beautiful, hi. Come along to kiss me. Before I'm gone, come along to kiss me. Before I'm gone, you don't to kiss so nice. Before I'm gone, you don't to kiss so nice. Before I'm gone, come along, come along, come along. You.
Time to meditate.
Time to meditate. I sent a messenger to tell you that I want to meet you at the station. Come along to kiss me. Before I'm gone, come along to kiss me. Before I'm gone, you don't to kiss so nice. Before I'm gone, you don't to kiss so nice. Before I'm gone, come along, come along, come along.
Hello, my baby.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. hello my baby, 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 hello my baby. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What was that group again? The Zulu, is it a Zulu group?
Black Mambas.
You guys are amazing. I swear to God, I think mmeenda tu archives zangu mkachukua mawimbo. My favorite of songs, mzile napenda. You're amazing. I know. Enyewe mjaniangusha. Why don't we have you guys on Monday again?
Monday. When is Monday again?
All right, that's more like it. Thank you so much, Aninga.
We'll
thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was great having you. And once again, we have to say kwaheri. I wouldn't have wanted to end this, but all the same, we have to end it. Shout out to everyone who's been watching us. Thank you so much for keeping us company. Axelic, you want to say something as we get to wind up? Kuja hapa uambie usalimie watu as we wind up. I mean, I need not to say anything more. It's a wrap from us, and Axelic says anataka kushout out watu. Shout out watu. Iko on, Mike, iko on.
Nataka kusema thanks to everyone mwenye amekuwa tuned in. It has been amazing, and wewe mwenye una watch ndio umemake amazing pia. Yeah.
Thank you so much for always entertaining us. It's a wrap. My name is Linda Alela. Kaa hapa usikimbie. DJ Axenic, of course, the Ninga group or Ninga Melodies. It was great having you together. We all say happy holidays. Oh, happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
All right, so yes, Christmas inaendelea. Thank you so much. Mnaweza tumalizie na wimbo.
Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day.